What's up, YouTube? Bold and Understanding here with another video. Gonna talk about these two guys, two great guys, Nayoa and Yue, Terrence Bud Crawford. The discussions been happening, especially this month, about who's the fighter of the year, who's the pound for pound #1 guy, who's in fight of the year, knockout of the year. You name all the categories, and a lot of this shit still involves these two people overall. Now, I would say this. Both men made a hell of a case for fighter of the year and pound for pound #1. But in my honest opinion, only one man made the impact that's been talked about this whole time, including comparisons with other fighters. And that will be Terrence Crawford. Because for one, he had the most impact as far as fight this year. He beat Errol Spence, a guy that a lot of people had as a 50-50 fight going into it, was Crawford slightly being a favorite. Now, outside of real hardcore fans, well, even them too, how many people really seen Terrence Crawford destroying Errol Spence on July 29th? How many people can imagine that was going to happen? I mean, I always thought Terrence Crawford was going to knock out Errol Spence. But if you look at it like this was a one-sided ass whipping. And I understand Nayo and Inoue had a one-sided ass whipping over Stephen Fulton. But this one with Crawford and Spence was the one being talked about for the most part. I mean, you had all the heavy hitters in there. You had the celebrities. You even have the Dallas Cowboys owner in Errol Spence locker room, and Jerry Jones. Like, everybody was there because this was a fight that was brewing for over 5 years. 5 years in the making, and absolutely probably even longer than that. But I'm just going to say 5 years. And to be honest, there was a lot of shady stuff going on. You had organizations trying to block this fight from happening, especially coming from the PBC side and Showtime, Fox, or whatever. See, this was a fight that should have happened years ago. But luckily, in this case, both guys weren't derailed off course, and the fight still ended up happening anyway, luckily. But I'm going to say this, is that you had organizations trying to age Crawford out, and the shit backfired anyway. Thanks to Errol Spence for stepping up and saying, look, I need to fight this guy. I got to fight this guy before I leave the division. I have to fight this guy. Because, to be honest with you, Errol Spence put all that pressure on himself. Because, he was saying he's the big fish. He's the cash cow. He's all that. I beat him and all that other stuff. He backed himself into a corner that he had no choice but to take this fight. But kudos to him for taking this fight. Also, I know people are going to say, well, Terrence Crawford only had one fight. How could he be fighter of the year when everybody else at least had two that's in the running? Well, let me remind you of something. When I say impact, I mean impact. Joe Frazier in 1971 won Fighter of the Year for only having one fight, and that was over Muhammad Ali. He beat Muhammad Ali, and he won Fighter of the Year. And I believe that was his third time winning it too, but just that one fight alone secured him Fighter of the Year in 1971. Because it was the impact. Wasn't how many times you fought, it was the impact. How big that fight was. That's what it was all about. But I get it. People going to have an argument, and that's cool. I'm not going to fight with you over that. But the one thing I'm going to say, I'm going to leave you with this. Every fighter that's in that running right now for Fighter of the Year, they all been compared to no other than Terrence Crawford for Fighter of the Year. They weren't even compared to each other. When David Benavidez had the second fight where they said, oh, he should be Fighter of the Year. He should be Fighter of the Year over Terrence Crawford. Then it was Devin Haney. Then it was, oh, he should be Fighter of the Year over Terrence Crawford. And then now it's Naoya Inoue. Oh, he should be Fighter of the Year over Terrence Crawford. All of these guys are not even compared to each other. They all compared to Terrence Crawford, letting you know that Terrence Crawford is the gold standard of what the Fighter of the Year should be. The impact. But if you got a better argument, that's cool with me. But like I said, that's what I'm going to leave you with. You're watching Bold and Understanding. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And on the end of that note, family, peace.